Whenever I build a commander deck, there's always a little checklist that I go through to make sure my deck is ready. So here's my list of things that you need in your commander decks before going out to FNM. Real quick, before I start, if you like this kind of stuff, consider subscribing. Thanks. First thing I check is I always look for some way to exile graveyards. Graveyard hate is immensely important in Commander. There are tons of decks that utilize the graveyard. Various artifact strategies, aristocrats, reanimators, self-mill, and there are tons of infinite combos that will also incidentally use death triggers. Personally, I really like Nile's Spellbomb, but there are lots of options. Scavenging Ooze is a second favorite of mine and really good in creature decks. Second, I want to make sure some of my removal can deal with indestructible permanents. Think cards like Song of the Dryads or Chaos Warp. Indestructible is not that common, but it shows up enough and is problematic enough that you're going to want some way to deal with it. Trust me, when you got an Ulamog the Ceaseless Hunger staring you down, you're going to want a Chaos Warp to get rid of it. Next, I check that I have at least 2 or 3 board wipes. If I have a control deck, I'll run more, sometimes upwards of 6. I think the most I've ever played was 7. Even in heavy creature decks, at some point you're probably going to be behind. You're not always going to be ahead on board. And there are times that you're going to want a board wipe. There are plenty of good options in most color combinations, so just pick some of your favorites, the most efficient ones, the best ones you got. I also make sure I have removal for artifacts, enchantments, and lands. Cards like Beast Within or Generous Gift, which destroy any permanent, will basically cover this whole category for me. But I want to make sure that if there is an artifact or enchantment or a land that is problematic, I'm able to get rid of it. I don't fold to anything in particular. Most crucially, you need at least 10 cards that give card advantage. So cantrips like Opt don't count for this, because they just draw 1 card, so they only replace themselves. I'm talking about cards that draw 2 or more cards. Card draw is the most important thing in the Commander format, and without it, you're not going to be able to get any of these other cards and utilize anything else on this list. So be sure to add tons of that.